was opening up the keyhole and just looking outside. I'm like, no.
So then you get into the whole industry of like adult film. Was it what you expected doing your first scene? So you had me doing moonsaults off the top rope.
Oh my God.
I have implants.
I feel like I know of it somewhere. Why?
Why not?
I mean, I thought about it for a long while before I did it. I mean, I got a lot of uproar from the whole industry, but who are they to judge me?
Yeah, I mean, what are they?
They can all go to hell. They don't pay my bills.
No, you got a point.
And that's that.
Welcome. Happy Monday. It's been quite a while since I've seen everyone. Hi, John Jay. Let's welcome to this chat, Drat Damage. That's actually a pretty cool name. Hi, Paul. How are you? It's great to see everyone. I know it's been a minute because I've just been traveling from countries to states to all over the place. And it's between just wrestling. And then we obviously had the big wrestling convention a couple of weeks ago, which we'll talk about for sure. Hi, Ben. How are you? But thank you, new people on here, and welcome back to the loyal subscribers and so forth. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and make sure to check out Crazy Train podcast every Wednesday. There's a new episode that drops. I kind of felt back on a few things. I went backwards because I just, like I said, I've been busy. And sometimes when you book people, it's like you get these really, really, you got very flaky people, and it's not wrestlers I'm talking about either. So therefore, I'll be probably staying more towards wrestlers and people that don't, maybe like people that aren't as mixed in with certain lifestyles, I should say. Welcome, everyone. Happy Monday. Yes, I'm still winding down from, I think, this past week working. And for those of you who've not subscribed to my podcast on Apple and Spotify and all that other stuff, please do so. It's Crazy Train Podcast, crazy with a K. For the new listeners, please just make sure that you catch up on the old episodes. As far as my show on Maverick, I know that we were talking about the Jasmin St. Clair show. I had to push that back as well, just because with the traveling, it's been crazy. But I do promise you guys that will be launching soon. I just have to put together, times, schedules, and it's really a lot more that goes into it than people know. As you know, Mondays are my more casual shows where I don't really get dressed up. I just kind of come in from the gym sometimes and just do my thing, hop on here and, spend my Mondays with everyone, Monday evenings. Hi, Michael. How are you? Nice to meet you. Hey, Scott. How are you? So yeah, Juggalo Championship Wrestling. It's been cool getting an opportunity this many years later in pro wrestling, which is something you don't really hear about with a lot of females in the business, at least with managers. I got to meet a lot of really cool new people. I had my Fago dog. In Ohio, there is a man, I don't know what his nickname is, but he makes Fago dogs, right? They have different flavors, but grape was the best flavor ever. So that's what I was fueled by, complete Fago, and that's it. And Fago drinks are my favorite. They now make 0 sugar Fago. Hey, Hellstrom, how are you? And I want to thank everyone for coming back. I know that I was absent for a few weeks. I didn't think anyone would want to watch a stream from my plane ride to Scotland back to the States, because that would be a little bit weird. And I don't think they'd allow me to stream on a plane, so to speak. And then last weekend, I was just coming back from Juggalo weekend, and my God, I was pooped. Some of those rides are insanely long, 4 or 5 hours, and some of them are not so long. But it was great making new friends, hanging out with Effie. I finally got to hang out with Sunny Kiss, who was really cool. And we have a new roster member, Alice Crowley, who's now their official champion. WrestleCon was good. Yes, I enjoyed the sabotage clip you sent me. WrestleCon was a lot of fun. We had the great Muta as a guest. And just to be clear, I went and facilitated that myself last year when I contacted Nozawa, who's a famous Japanese wrestler, to put me in touch with him. And I did this deal in person with him face-to-face and via email. But it ended okay. I mean, it was a great show. We had a great turnout at the table, but I was on my feet all day. For those of you just joining right now, thank you for coming back. And don't forget to catch up on the prior videos on here. The last episode of Crazy Train was Dawn Marie from ECW. And she'll be joining us this next year at For the Love of Wrestling in Manchester. And Hellstrom, you weren't here before when I made this announcement, but we're having issues with some of these porn girls. I'll be specific. With whatever stupid little excuses. And you want to give people a chance, right? You don't want to judge anyone. And a lot of them, I feel, are just in a different mindset. You know, you have like the whole OnlyFans thing going on and they just don't care. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of times when I've had OnlyFans girls that have like a shit ton of OnlyFans followers, nobody gives a fuck. Because a lot of them, not all, a lot of them have no real story. You know what I mean? It's just someone that kind of pops up and down in a feed, but they have no real story to them and no personality or character. There's no sketch, if that makes any sense. There's like no soul. So the girls that I do get on the shows from that era are mostly girls that are cool and reliable, and we have no issues with someone, oh my God, I can't figure out the internet. I mean, Buff Bagwell, when I had him on my podcast, we had no problems. He had a little bit of an issue with the technology, same with Brian Kendrick, but they are professionals and they figured it out. But one girl, my God, it's just, yeah. Oh, well, I can't figure it out. Then it was a nail appointment. Okay, I get the nail appointments because like nail appointments, it's really tough sometimes to get in with your nail technician. So that I understood. But like the 2 times after that, man, she reminded me, this specific girl reminded me of like another version of that thought. What was her name? Bonnie Blue or whatever. So it was like the same type of caliber of person. And what Hellstrom is saying is, yes, a lot of these girls use bots on their account and they ask the same freaking questions, you know? But I know sometimes it gets tedious just hearing me. So that's why I invited Vic Lagina back on. Plus he, you know, we're just shooting the shit about stuff. I started to watch, let's see. I started to watch a film on Netflix. It's a miniseries we started watching called, what is it called? Bad Influence. The dark side of kidfluencing. And this is what we're going back from this OnlyFans bullshit. Oh, hold on a second. I think someone from England just messaged me. Hold on. And Paul Corbin, Rise Underground refunded me for the show. Yeah, thank you. Because I couldn't do it because I couldn't do the Rise Underground show in Vegas this year because I was busy at the table with the Great Muta. And it was a really long, intense line. I couldn't leave the line. Drop damage. OnlyFans are spoiled princesses who think everyone should wait on them. Exactly. And at the end of the day, no one's going to fucking know you in a year from now, maybe 5 years. And then these girls like call themselves porn stars now, you know? Thanks to all of you just joining the stream. I know I don't know if I started on time today, but I know it's been a while and I'm grateful for all of you coming back to hear me and speak with me and interact and everything because I have a lot of fun doing these. So getting back to Bad Influence on Netflix, that is like grooming 101. Like you have to seriously see the shit on there, okay? You have the one woman named Tiffany with her daughter Piper who created her squad. And here's the thing, when you have these young kids with videos on YouTube, I'm talking young, like 9 and 8 and 7, it's not kids their own ages watching it. It's pedophiles. Like, I think so. I don't know what you guys think. I'm going to ask my friend Vic once he joins on here. Like, I think it's pedophiles. I think it's chomas joining it and, you know, doing whatever. Because one thing that they show on this Netflix series, okay, there he is. One thing they show on this Netflix series, right, is that after a while, the viewers were dropping as these kids got older, right? Then you have the one whore, Piper's mother, Tiffany, I think her name is, selling her 10-year-old daughter's underwear to get a fucking Vuitton handbag. You know? So you tell me, like, why didn't the other mothers, because those kids were really underage at the time, why didn't the other mothers who no longer had any say in the squad or had their kids participating in this call CPS? This is a grown woman who was also making out with a trans kid, who was making out with a 13-year-old boy. Like, that's disgusting. Get some standards, like 25 or over. Like, make that your rule. Anyway, here's Vic. Vic's probably like, what is Jasmin saying now? But welcoming to the show is Vic Lagina, who is a friend to the show and everyone knows and likes. Hi, Vic.
Hello. Yeah, Vic Lagina here. How are you?
Good. Okay, so we were talking about, well, first of all.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. First of all, how's your mental?
Yeah, I was going to ask you, how's your mental health? Hey, Paul, how you doing? Hey, Scott Bacon, how are you? Yeah, the first question, how are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm much better now.
Are you? Oh, well, that's cool. Thank you. So am I. I'm actually much better now, too.
Yeah, we were just talking about Netflix bad influence, like the dark side of kidfluencing. Have you seen that yet?
Not yet. I've seen, no, I haven't seen this one yet. I've been, should I take a deep dive into that?
Yeah, these are really young kids, right? And this is my theory, Vic. And a lot of people believe me on this, but okay. These kids are like ages 8, 7, 9, like in that age range with a squad, with videos all over YouTube, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're working from like, some of them don't even go to school. And then one of them was working at like 11 a.m. till 2 a.m., then going to school at 7 and 8 in the morning, shutting her tablet down to school, then doing these fucking content videos. But who is watching the videos that they're all these high views when they're that young? And as they get older, right? The views drop. I think it's pedophiles. And I also think that's a really dangerous precedent for kids, that these parents aren't emphasizing education, but they're emphasizing, oh, get as many clicks as you can. And one of them even sold the daughter's underwear to a grown man.
Yeah, there's a lot of evil in the world. I've been trying to, keep that out, but it's very apparent that there's a darkness in this world. And you're right. It is pederasts who are watching these youngins on it. I don't know. I that just seems like bad parenting to me. It's not something I would do.
It's bad parenting, but I think it's really emphasizing, and you should see these mothers. One of them was definitely an ex-crack whore hoe, right? She had she's a grown woman with a football jersey on, whatever team the green one is. I don't know if it's Packers or just whatever. It was not a Juggalo Championship hockey jersey, just so everyone knows. Okay, it was something totally different. And she had holes in her jeans on the knees. I didn't see any like scuff marks on her knees, so maybe she wasn't hooking as of late. But just the fact that you would put your kids out there for the whole world to see and emphasize, oh my God, we can get clicks. This is what these people are doing. I don't know. And then I had this conversation about OnlyFans girls. It's this mental illness going on. Like, what is going on? Do you even have the answers?
No, the whole world's gone pretty meshuggah. I wish I did. I mean, I've been picking fights. Not really. People have been picking fights with me, like the pro-Palestinian fucktards out there. They like to yell at me on Twitter. And then the other ones recently are, because I'm very outspoken about Pornhub and really trying to figure out and wrap my head around, like, the creators in the industry using Pornhub, despite the horrible shit that they're accused of, that they have settled for, that they're being sued for, and they yell at me. They say I'm a self-righteous prick because I wouldn't support Pornhub. And I mean, like, I'm becoming a master troll in that I'm pretty unflappable. But that's how I've been spending my free time as of late, trying to figure out this thing. Like the pro-Palestinian thing, I don't get, Because it's like, okay, so you're supporters of rapists and murderers. Yeah. And then they somehow turn around where Israel are Nazis. Like, we are truly in upside down world. And I'm just like, okay, well, I guess I'm just going to sit back and fuck with people because that's the only answer here. Because truth is, you're not going to convince them of another opinion. What I like to try to understand is, like, how do creators in the porn industry justify continuing to work for and support Pornhub? And it really comes down to one simple thing: their bottom line, you know? And that's all important. They could the justifications for this, what they say, you know, oh yeah, well, all the tube sites do bad things. Like, oh, okay, so I guess it's cool then, right? So it's been really it's, I don't know. I've gotten to the point where I'm trying not to get too dark here, but it's pretty pretty hard these days. Yeah.
I want you to, but I've met a girl from Canada, Russell Khan, who used to work for Pornhub. I should message her because I forgot we have these opinions on Pornhub, but I think I'm going to bring her on in a few weeks, and we should have this round table about this because she doesn't work there anymore, and I'd be interested in hearing. And she was hot too, so I believe she had. It's very interesting that she worked there. So I have some comments here. I finished Harlan Coben's The Stranger, pretty good. Harlan Coben has the best books out there, and his shows are turned into Netflix miniseries. The underwear thing is fucked up, no shit. Have you guys watched Michael Connelly, The Wonderland Massacre, The Secret History of Hollywood documentary?
Yes, okay. I did see that. Yeah.
Let's get back to that in a second. And Drac is right. Anything but to work a real job. And this is what they're telling these kids: don't work a real job. John Jay, don't talk to these people. They're losers. Yes. And Pornhub is gross. You know, and parents exploit their kids. They should go to prison. And, you know, that's what really bothers me with this whole thing is these moms, when they pull their kids out of this little cult squad, none of them went, yes. Yeah. No, I wish I could argue any of these points, but yes, these parents are terrible people. You don't bring a child into this world to use them for profit or profit gain. It just is just awful. And yeah, I'm seeing more of it come out. Some people who are in porn who are speaking out about all of this and the trafficking and all this other stuff. I mean, it really does shine a light, and a lot of people in the industry just refuse to look at it, you know, which is why I guess I'm grateful I'm done with it completely. Yeah, like everyone said nice things about you, except for one person, but I forgot who it was. And
who?
I don't know, but they said that you're an anti-Semite. And
see, again, who's this fucktard? Like how can I be an anti-Semite? You know, it's just, I mean, I had a bar mitzvah, for fuck's sake, you know, like, but who said this? Like, let's start some trouble here. Cause
I don't know who it was, but then they blocked. So I cursed them off on Twitter. Then they blocked me. It was someone with I think the photo was like a dog or something, like a stuffed dog, which I thought it's obviously someone that probably knows us that we've blocked already. I want to know about this special that Hellstrom is talking about, the Wonderland Massacre and the Secret History of Hollywood. Tell me about that, because I want to know what this is all about.
Well, I mean, it's a true story, and John Holmes was very much wrapped up in it. There was a movie I want to say it came out in like 2003, 2004 that starred Val Kilmer, the late Val Kilmer. He was John Holmes. And, you know, it's one of the situations where people went to trial. The dude that was, Boober, who was Liberace's like little fuckboy play toy, he just died too. He was in the mix of all this stuff as well. It was really, interesting. So it's a 4-parter. They really don't know who murdered. I mean, they have ideas on it, but no one ever went to jail for it. And there was a bunch of drug dealers and criminals. They got beaten with pipes, and it's debatable about whether or not John Holmes actually was participating in the murders. He may have had to do it to get his hands dirty. And there was like a handprint on one of the bed rails that he may have put his hand down. And he did go home to his ex-wife, who he was covered in blood, wasn't his own blood. But he died in like 88 from AIDS. So you're never going to get the truth from him either, but it's worth checking out. Pretty dark, but worth checking out.
Yeah. I mean, I want to see it now, obviously. Well, wait, how many years, what was the difference from the murders? How many years passed until his death?
Well, I mean, I think the murders took place in like 1980.
Oh, okay. Well, he only had 8 years left anyway. Oh,
wow. Yeah. So, but yeah, it was apparently John Holmes was a big scumbag. I don't know if you ever dealt with him, but or that was before your time.
Way before. I was underage then.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes sense. Well, I'm glad that you weren't involved or knew him.
No, we've been involved with scumbags. I mean, let's not forget that. I mean, I worked for Rob Black. Hello, he was a scumbag, bouncing
yeah.
all over the place. And
really?
Yeah, but it's just it's night and day, because working with him, even in the wrestling aspect of things, when he came back this time, it was cool at the beginning. Then his true colors showed, and it's that fucking podcast, right? So then I get a better experience now. I work with another company now, Juggalo Championship Wrestling, and it's like such a better experience, much better fans. Like, I like the fans of the fans, but I just think everyone's like always happy. It's almost like being in a cool cult, not like, those kids on the internet and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, this is culty, but not dangerous. Yeah, I don't know. So it's a very dark world out there right now. I think the internet has really fucked it up for so many kids, like so many people. And any parent, parents should keep their kids off the internet as long as possibly human.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how realistic it is, but you're right. I mean, it's look, the thing is that you need a license to do a lot of things, like drive a car, go fishing, hunt. But any fucking shithead can have kids, and they don't really understand the massive undertaking it is to raise a child. Like, I haven't done it, but I know that, and that's the reason why I've been hesitant doing it, because this world is so fucked up and complicated, and to be a good parent is hard work, but I'm not saying I couldn't do it. I'm just saying I would need a partner that was right there with me, that had the same set of, I guess, standards in terms of what you're supposed to do. Because, the whole plot of that movie, Idiocracy, was that smart people like me, sensible people, they don't have kids because of the logistics of it and the cost of it. And they analyze everything. But rednecks in the South are like one after another. And that's why we're kind of slowly moving into an idiocracy.
Hey, I'm one of those rednecks. No. I mean, I've been told, but yeah, I have no idea how this is going to work. And then, okay, you're gonna laugh. So, I don't know what it is. You get girls like Jaime Marie, some of the girls that we've had on the podcast, both Crazy Train and on here, that are normal. Well, let me rephrase that: responsible, right? So
responsible.
Exactly. Then you get these other girls that are big OnlyFans, whatever, and they feel as though they're God's gift, but yet my theory is they don't really, nobody's that interested in them, because you don't really meet these girls as much. The days of signings are over, and there's no real composite to them. Jaime's a bit different because she's out there doing stuff all the time, but I just noticed that with some of these girls. I don't know.
No, and I think there's a lot of humility has been lost with a lot of these girls. They tend to believe now they're very important. And it's okay. Yeah, I'll argue with you on that one, but they act so important. And, the ones that I knew that were pretty humble in the beginning are completely out of their fucking minds right now. So it's kind of hard to see. I mean, I've tried not to follow too many people on social media because it literally is brain rot. When you hear some of them talking and giving their opinions, you're like, I'm so glad to be out of the porn industry. Like the porn industry to me was always 13th grade. It was silly. It was petty. The egos in that industry just seem like what are you like? Why do you have this ego in the porn industry? Like it never made sense. So that's why I was kind of like a black sheep in the industry. I just never really fit in. I never did.
Me too. Oh my God. I really, like, to this day, I'm very proud of one thing that was said. This is like the best ever. Someone said something in one of those AVN articles, and I said, wow, I had no idea. Oh, one girl, it was Felicia Ann, who did lesbo porn. Oh my God, well, have you seen what she said about people in the press? Okay, my reply, 1, what press? This isn't even real press. It's porn press. B, you people can read. Like, I had no clue. So
Yeah.
I was always a black sheep strictly because of my opinions, but maybe there was some truth to that. Yeah, moving right along. Paul wants to know, how was Florida last month?
Well, yeah, Paul. Yeah, thank you, Paul, for bringing up such painful memories. Well, look, the truth is, the trip itself was good, but I wound up breaking up in my relationship while I was in Florida, and I came home to her moved out. Yeah. So it was one of those deals where the rug was pulled out from under me. And I was trying to make sense of it from 3,000 miles away, feeling quite powerless, especially when I thought we were good. I mean, obviously there was some things underneath that really weren't spoken of. And I think it's very important that if you're in a relationship to always kind of do a check-in, like a real check-in. To really know. But the thing that was so baffling was that, me and her, like you've heard me talk about her on this podcast and on other podcasts too. And truth is, I really don't have anything bad to say about her. I still love her. I still very much care for her. But it did shine a light on the, obviously, things that were underneath that were festering. And, look, we were in our honeymoon phase. The honeymoon phase is fucking awesome. But the true test of a relationship is when things are bad. And how do you get through it when things are bad? So, I'm actually glad that we're talking about this because I did want the female perspective on this. Because considering, I've had a lot of relationships, the female mind is still somewhat of a vast mystery to me. But here's the thing. You come in hot. You are pretty heavy-handed. So I'm hoping that you can be more like, no, just listen, like you can listen to the whole story of what happened and what the issues were, and please ask away, but let's not jump to any conclusions on anything yet, because truth is, I mean, we are still talking and, nice things have happened. Yeah, it didn't go nasty. I will tell you this. In my, bakery of fruitcakes, she was not one of them at all. She was like I've had my resume is pretty checkered when it comes to choice of partners, but I don't even put her in any sort of category near any of them. I mean, she really was a wonderful person. I just think, how this whole thing ended could have been done better. I think we both have acknowledged it. But then again, I think about something where maybe this was exactly the way it was supposed to happen. With me kind of being far away, powerless, because like the truth is, if she was here and we decided to break up, I have a saying, one in the head, a shot in the head is better than 5 in the gut. This whole thing, being far away and whatever, shot in the head. And I was able to kind of process it. And the good thing was I had friends all around me, keeping me and elevating me. Like I've got a great group of friends. But if I was here and we decided to come to the same conclusion, I'd be watching her pack her stuff and watching her leave. And that would have been awful, in a lot of ways. So I've had to pick up the pieces. But yeah, ask away. Everyone out there, ask away. I would love to get like opinions about this and really, find out your perspective and all of this.
Well, it's 2 things. First of all, did she do this in a text message?
So it all started with a text message saying, you know, when you get back, we need to have a conversation. And you don't do that when I'm like there. Like, cause like the first thing was like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And so we have a phone conversation and it kind of just brings a couple things to light. There was some phone conversations. Some of the phone conversations did not go well. I could tell you with the utmost sincerity, I did not handle things as best I could. But then on the same end, you know, when you walk away going to Miami thinking everything is cool, and yet you're having this whole conversation of breaking up, like, it's like, okay, it's a mind fuck of sorts. And that's what I was going through. So, you know, and I've acknowledged this to her. I've apologized for being a big baby and not being like the centered dude that I always am. Well, in the same end, I'm a human guy, you know, and I'm entitled to have a reaction. So what more questions do you have besides that one?
Well, wait a second. Well, okay, now here's the kicker. Okay, so all right. So that sounds. What'd you do? Like curse? Like when you say okay, first of all, if you don't mind me asking, like, what was the premise of this? Were you like being immature, or like were you doing stupid things? No.
And the truth is, let's back up a little bit. Like, I was single for 5 years, you know, and that was a decision because like my inner peace and, you know, and wanting to be sure that whoever I decided to take on as a partner next was a good, healthy partner. It wasn't toxic, and she wasn't toxic at all. I mean, in fact, we loved spending time with each other. And when we were apart, we well, hold on, John Jay. Let's get we can analyze that a little bit. But like, you know, whenever we were not with each other, like, you know, the things that she was saying before I left was, I miss you already, and I wasn't even gone yet. Like, I hate to admit this, I watched some really, really awful television to spend time with her. Like, it was that kind of relationship where we were like always wanting to be around each other. Like, I've never been around someone, and I want to say vice versa, where we genuinely loved being around each other. You know, like previous girlfriends, I'd be like, when the fuck is she getting out of here? Because I need my space. But it didn't seem like it wasn't that way with me. You know, like, I love waking up to her every day. I was good to her. The truth is, when I got into this was, you know, like, I've had bad relationships, but my promise to myself was, getting into this one, I am going to be the best possible man I can. I am not going to disrespect her. I'm not going to be talking to other women. I'm not going to cheat. I am not going to do anything. And I did say to her, look, you're moving in. If this isn't working, let's both be adults and acknowledge it. And, you know, and I guess that really did come true. But yeah, the whole mindfuck thing was just kind of crazy. So what brought on the conversation, to answer your question, was, you know, we had talked about kids. We have. And I never said no. I said, look, the reality of the situation is I am older and I'm not working anymore because I've made my money. I did the grinding. And I said, so in the sense of wanting to go back out to grind and support a kid, I don't want to do that. I've done it already. But what I can do, because I have all the time in the world, is if you are sleeping and the kid needs to change a diaper and is crying, I got this. Homework, I got this. Taking the kid to school, I got this. Making sure that this is a good environment, I got this. So in that sense, fine. But we did say, look, let's make sure we have a solid foundation. Let's make sure that we want to bring a child into this world together. But I never said no. I said, like, let's, like, you know, maybe give it a good 5 years and then decide. Well, she, and I mean, she's got this birth control in her arm that is a 5-year birth control where, you know, like when it expires, let's have this conversation. And so I never said I didn't want to have kids, but she did say to me during this whole, we need to talk when you get back, is, I'm not sure I want to wait 5 years. I'm not sure. I mean, I might want to start a family on your own, and I'm not sure I want to do that with someone with such an age discrepancy. Now, mind you, look, I'm 51.
I'm sorry, how old is she?
29.
She's too old, man.
You always say that. I don't think so. I mean, look, I'm 22 years older than her, right? So you've got that. Okay, thank you. So is actually, that's a very good point. And look at me, I'm in good shape. I don't look like I'm fucking 51, and I'm going to be on this earth for a while. My biggest fear with her always was that, like, I told her, I was like, I'm not going to leave you. Like, I am in this. Like, all my chips are in. I'm betting on you. I said, my fear is that you are going to get sick of me, you know? And so when you have this conversation from 3,000 miles away, your worst fears are coming true. And as much as and so what I said to her was, I didn't say we should break up. I didn't say that. Those words never came out of my mouth. What I said was, if you really feel this way, you have to break up with me. And saying that was not received well. Let's just put it that way. I probably could have said it better. My friends agreed. I probably could have said that better. I was fighting the tide of, you said we have to break up. You said we have to break up. I was like, no, I didn't. I did not say that. But like, that was what started it all, and it snowballed from there. It really did. And, you know, when your worst fears are being realized and you can do nothing about it, like I said, I handled it poorly in terms of what I said. Could I have waited till I'd gotten back? I mean, could have manned up and been like, all right, we'll talk about it when we get back. But I was raised in an environment with my father and mother where communication was always important. There was no going to bed angry. You know, you talked through it. That was what was imprinted on me. But it wasn't really imprinted on her. And as a matter of fact, a lot of times communication was not her strong suit at all. So, yeah, so it was me trying to have a conversation when she's like, just leave me alone, let me process, you know? So in a way, me trying to communicate was just pushing her way further. I get it. What more conversation? Yes, go ahead.
No, sorry, I have to interject here. Oh, hey, Jamal, by the way. No. What you did, okay, was selfless, because hang on. If this is what she wants as kids now, she probably wants to have them before she's 35 or something. You don't know what her friends are saying. I don't know what that situation is, but you didn't do or say anything wrong. You know, what you didn't want to do was hold another man's wife hostage, or his potential wife hostage. You get what I'm saying? Because if you keep saying, you're 51 years old, dude. So by the time, let's say you have one and you're 56, you're going to be 66 trying to play ball with your kid.
I know. I've said that to her. I get it.
But this is what happens at younger people. Like, technically, you're dating your future mother-in-law at that age. Like, seriously.
My future mother-in-law was about 7 years younger than me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, right. So, I just don't think you said anything wrong to her. Maybe to you it sounds like that. Wait, what did you say again? Repeat that. I'll tell you one more time.
I said, if you really feel this way, then you have to break up with me.
Then you basically left the door open for her for what she wanted to do.
Right.
I'm not saying she definitely wanted, but you giving her that choice, because it is selfish. If you are not ready for kids and she is, if you get pushed into it, and I've seen a lot of girls push guys into having kids before they were ready, and using the whole relationship as, hey, if you don't do this now, you know, we're breaking up. And when you start placing ultimatums, everything is honky-dory for the first 2-3 years. But then after that, there's a lot of resentment that builds up. So let's say, hypothetically, if you have this kid next year because you feel pressured and everything like that, I guarantee you like have resentment after.
Well, I don't know if I would have resentment. I mean, I think at the end of the day, I would like to believe that if I had a kid, that kid is going to be top priority and it's going to get the best. And I'm going to make sure this kid is given all of the love in the world. But this whole thing did shine a big light, which is what I touched on earlier. Like, you need a solid partner that is on your level, that is willing to commit and be the level of a parent that you want to be. And with this, it was like first sign of trouble, out, you know? So that gave me some pretty big pause on, okay, not everything was great in the relationship. And I think too, like, there was other things said, like over the course, like she didn't really like Vegas yet. She's still in Vegas now. She just found her own spot. But I do think, like, this house is the house that I have been living in since 2006. It's the house that Brazzers built. It's the house that Vic Lagina It's called Lagina Land. Like, there's been like my fucked up relationships in here. And I think, I understand this, and I gave her credit on all this. It never really felt like her home. It felt like the home of a porn producer. And it's completely fair. Like, it's completely fair. She did try. She did try. And I mean, I can understand. Like, I've been in relationships where I didn't want the person to move in because I wanted our own space. Because I think sometimes having your own space is healthy. Despite how vast this home is, maybe she just needed her own space to kind of just be cool mentally. And I get all that. And that was like one of the things I really opened my eye on. But thoughts on that?
Well, Bobby, I mean, yeah, it's possible, yes. But at the same time, I wouldn't want to be buying a house in this temperature, this like whole home buying temperature right now. And if you are comfortable, I think the house, I don't think that's as big of a deal as it is. You get what I'm saying? It's not really that big of a deal that y'all are making it. I feel as though it seems as though like you want to make this work, obviously, duh. But I just feel like that's like caving in too much. It's a fucking
I agree.
house.
I agree.
So, like, how long were you together? Like a year?
Well, yeah, we fell short of the 1 year anniversary, but I've known her for a while. I've known her for 7 years.
Civilian?
No, she was industry.
Okay.
So we had the mutual understanding on that. And I get it. Like, I would do interviews all the time because I'm promoting the book, and she would be within earshot about me talking about my exes. And I know that's not going to sit right, but I'm promoting a book, and it is ancient history, and I have gotten over these things. It's just that I think that definitely weighed on her. I think the other end too is just, she has said, when it really came down when we were talking, was that she just wants to be alone and fuck everyone. Like, she came back from her home. Like, we didn't really see much of each other last month. I was in back in Philly because my father had heart surgery. I come back. She goes home for 11 days. I come back for 2 days. We're hanging out. Everything seems good. Then I go to Miami. But what was going on with her back home did take a mental toll on her with a lot of shit that was going on with her. And I think that, plus the fact that we had our first major blowout, like, this was like our first real fight. We had like some skirmishes in between that was really not really major, but this was the one where she, like, I think it all came to a head with her, and she's been on a dark path in the past, and she was seeing that she needs to take a step back and work on herself. And I respect that. I do. It's just, there's a lot of my friends and even my family that I talked to about this, like, they liked her a lot, which I can't say was the case with a lot of my exes. Like, usually when you break up, they're like, oh, that's cool. I couldn't stand her. Like, the opinions come out. That didn't happen with her. Like, she was great with my family. She was great with my friends, the ones that she met anyways. There was a couple cynics in there. There was a couple ones that were like, oh, she's got someone on the side, or she wants to, like, do this or that. And I'm thinking, I mean, not when we were really together all the time, and not really how we were feeling. Like, we didn't really have major fights until this one. Sex was like plentiful and amazing. We got along. We like really just enjoyed being around each other. So I don't really see that. But as far as what the future holds, if there's a reconciliation, I agree with you. Like, I've got to hold my line of what is okay with me, because I know my worth and I know my value, as does she. But, I have to, like, face the reality. Like, she may very well, go out on dates. What I can tell you is, having been a veteran of dating in Las Vegas, and this is what I'm not going to do. I am not going on the dating sites, because you know what? The only thing worse than a dude trying to find a woman in Las Vegas is a woman trying to find a dude in Las Vegas. Like, the douchebaggery factor is like on the next level. And she's very adverse to douchebaggery, and it's everywhere in this city. So I don't know. I mean, if that's how it's going to go, that's fine. With me, I mean, look, I was single for a while. I decided to not be single with her because she was worth the risk of heartbreak. She really was. So you kind of sign up for that when you decide to get into a relationship. And I have my good times and I have my bad times. Like some days I'm like, I got this. Some days I'm like, fuck, I miss her. I miss her terribly. It's just like, there's no easy way, but I don't have regrets about any of it. I really don't. It's just trying to make sense of it all.
Well, two things. Hellstrom has a question. What
Sure.
if you said to her, sure, let's have a kid and get married, but you have to sign a prenup? Do you think she'd react well to that?
I don't think she would care about that. And I don't think like we even said, like, you know, your shit's your shit, my shit's my shit. Let's just not make it messy. So she does fine. She doesn't need me or my money. She doesn't need anyone's money. She does fine with her own stuff. Like, and that was really the case. And I'll tell you, like a good house partner, you know, like I was like, listen, don't worry about rent. Don't worry about utilities. How about you fill the fridge and, you know, contribute in other ways? And she did. I mean, it wasn't like I was living with a leech at all. It was like she really was good and she really did try. The question was, again, and this is the big one, is so when shit goes bad, cut ties and leave? Like what is like the defense mechanism here? And that's a big one.
Some people do that. Like here's the thing. First of all, I think you're caving in again. I think you were caving in way too much. And I feel as though like if you decide to reconcile, you can't just give in to everything. You have to stand your own ground too.
Mm-hmm.
And I see guys do this time and time again. Like I have a friend in the hospital who has cancer. And this girl with his girlfriend came by and had him sign a bunch of papers. Which is pretty dangerous because, you know, there was something else in there, but he didn't say anything. He just went along with it for the sake of just having someone there. You get what I'm saying? So like you don't want to do this just for the sake of having someone. And
right. I agree.
At the stage in your life, you probably want things to really work out. And sometimes you just, you know, I can't, I'm sorry, I hate to say this. I cannot see you with a kid.
Dogs, baby, but not kids.
Well, uncle, but I can't see you with a kid. Like as an uncle, a cool uncle, yeah.
I'm the funkle.
The funkle, yeah.
I am the funkle. I am 100% the funkle with dogs and relationships. And I agree with you. Like she had asked me before, like, are you just doing this because, you know, you're at that phase of your life? I'm like, fuck no. I mean, I am fine being single. Like I do single well. I really do. And I'm going to be like single again. And I kind of know it all, like how it's going to go. That's why I'm not bothering going out on dating because there's still a mourning period. But the thing is, it's like she was the one worth breaking and the one I actually genuinely felt. This is my person. This is my unicorn. You know, unicorns do not come along very often. They don't. And I felt that she was. But she's human. She's got her issues. I do believe you're right. I can't cave. I can't buckle. I have to do what's right for me. But yeah, I found it just the whole thing was just kind of jarring. It was a big mindfuck, colossal mindfuck. Like to the point where I was considering cutting my trip 2 days short to come back. I really was, but I ultimately didn't do it. And I'm glad I didn't do it because I wound up hanging out with some more friends, hanging out with the bands, backstage. Like it opened up more things and more opportunities that I would have said no because I was running back to Vegas like a bitch. I didn't do it. I stuck to it. And that was really how it all went down. But I welcome more of your female opinion. This is good for me. This is really helping me.
But yeah, you were running back like a little bitch. Like you might as well have just had a gimp suit on at that point. I'm sorry. You know, in real
You're right.
We jump back to my female opinion. Paul has a question sitting up here.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Brazzers House, on a lighter side, memories of directing Brazzers House featuring Tommy Gunn.
So here's the question. Like Brazzers House, I did the first one. That was back in 2014. I'm not sure if Tommy was in that one. Like I seriously don't remember. Like that's how like blurry this thing was. But I will tell you, Paul, Brazzers House was the most stressful fucking thing I have ever done in my entire career, to the point where I definitely lost a little bit of life, you know, because of how stressful it was. But in true Vic Lagina fashion, I got the motherfucker done to huge success. But I mean, you're talking the project that's like $180,000, and 12 porn stars and challenges and bullshit, and some of these girls wanting to leave in the middle of the night to go hook. I mean, you're talking like crazy. Yes. We had a security guard to be like, no, you can't go out and hook. And they had their bag ready to go out and, slang puss and do all that stuff. But truth is, it fucking sucked. And so when they were talking about Brazzers House 2, I was like, why don't you give that to someone else? Because I'm not interested. And the dude they gave it to, I said to him, I go, I hear you're doing Brazzers House 2. He's like, yeah, why are you saying like that? I go, oh, nothing. It was just the hardest thing I ever done, but good luck. He's like, don't say that to me, man. Don't say that to me. And what happened with that one was that literally they were shooting this orgy, and they were like, the girl was right on the cusp of her test, like right at day 14, and she had taken another one. But it came in, and guess what? She had like gonorrhea or chlamydia or something. She did. And so that whole Brazzers House 2 had to be disbanded and then, come back and, regroup and all that. But they did do Brazzers House 3, I believe. But, let's go back to everything. Brazzers sucks now. Brazzers sucks major, huge dick. Like, it's just terrible. It's just terrible. It's a shell of the company that they were. If anyone wants to pay for porn, go pay for the Vixen Group. Like, seriously.
Yeah, well, there goes that. And John, love the grind of a turbo slut. That's what I think also the whole temperature with a lot of these OnlyFans girls is they're a turbo slut. So they don't get having character or soul. Not all. John Jay, even if you have to admit, Jasmin, if you move out of somewhere, it's somewhat like a planned accept. It's true. It's not just like random up and gone. And this is why I'm wondering, like, who was she speaking to while you were away? Does she have friends she was speaking to? Because it's just this whole thing. I'll tell you, like most people that I know who've had this whole thing with kids, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Stay together. I can guarantee you, if you said you want to go ahead and have kids, I think, okay, you'll be giving her all the power, which you don't want to do because you're not a bitch, at least not yet. And I mean, then giving that to her, and it's all, and you should know better, dude. I mean, I'm sure your mother would agree with me, or your female friends, that you're giving her too much power. And if you go back with her and you say, we'll have a kid, that's giving in and giving her.
I know.
Now,
I know.
You mentioned before, and some people on here will remember this incident with me. So you're saying that she heard you talk about your exes on podcasts, but you never spoke about them in a positive light, as far as I could remember, right? So I don't see how that would cause friction, okay? Because an ex of mine, okay, he went on Tom Arnold's podcast with that racist. He has some racist co-hosts, some little dope, totally racist. You should have heard the things she was saying about me. And the first thing Tom Arnold says to him, and mind you, I've never met Tom Arnold. He just looks like a fat white guy with liver spots. He's like, oh, I want to talk to you about your ex. Like, that's the first thing. Now, let me tell you, he spent 40 minutes talking about how awesome and smart and great and how intriguing. Okay, now that's one thing. Then you're going to have marital strife after that. But you never did shit like this. Like, I remember you said how toxic things were. So I feel as though they're excuses. What's going on is they're excuses, picking at things because deep down she knows that you're not ready for kids and she is.
Yeah. I mean, that could be it. You asked about friends. Like, that was the thing too. She didn't have friends, but the chick who like does her hair, she's befriended. And so here's what's interesting to me. And this is what I was picking up on. Whenever she would be back home talking to friends, she would come back with these thoughts, insecurities, what have you. You know what I mean? And I don't know, like I did push at that. I was like, what, I have this feeling like they're not pro me. They're like, pro you being single. And she shot that down. I will never be able to know that, but I don't know. I think like the reality is that finding a place out here quickly is not really that difficult. You know, she found it, it landed in her lap, whatever. It reeks of premeditation and planning, but I do think this was like early on in this 5-day trip where finding a spot, signing a lease, and moving out. And she didn't move. She moved. Okay. I did get some consolation prizes for failing at Love Connection here, like in the form of a Dyson cordless mop and like new cookware and new like all that stuff was left. So she didn't really have to move that stuff. So did it seem premeditated? Kind of, but I don't know. I think really there was like an opportunity to do something quick because she needed to for herself. And so she took it. Do I agree with it? I think it could have been done differently. However, this is what it is now, you know? So I don't know. I'm trying to make sense of it all. I'm trying to stay positive in all of it. I do know I will be okay. That was the whole thing about all of it when I was in Florida. I ran this whole scenario of my worst fear happening, me losing what I am putting on a pedestal as the GOAT, the unicorn, and me losing her, and I had to face that. And the conclusion I came to was, I'm gonna be okay. It might hurt, but I'm gonna be okay. And I'm not like drinking, and I'm not like getting all fucked up to like numb myself. Like I'm feeling this pain, I'm processing it. And you know what? Here's the truth. I do love her. I love her with all my heart. If she needs to do this because this is what is going to make her happy and make her whole, then I should be like, do it. Go find your peace. I've told her this, go find your peace and all of that. And you know what? If she comes back around and we have a more of an understanding and a more of a respect of one another in this partnership, then okay. But, you know, I'm not going to just, you know, please take me back. I can't live without you. It's not going to be that way. But I'm not going to go, I'm not going to go run out and just start fucking because I can. I'm not going to do that because one thing she did tell me, she's like, value your dick. You know, don't give your dick to anyone. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. I'm not going to just, you know, throw cock. Hey, you want some cock? You want some cock? Here's some cock, everyone. I'm not going to do that because what is that going to do? I've been in so many like sexual situations that were bad that I wish I'd been like, you know what? I should have not done this. I should have just jerked off. And I know this, like that the wiser man in me knows this completely. So for me, it's like, okay, perhaps another unicorn will come along, but I know that there are women out there who are interested. It's cool. It's just like, I will just figure this out and I'm just going to, I don't know, man. Like I will be okay. I will be okay. I just, I always love a female's opinion about this, you know, especially one who's neutral. You know, you're not exactly neutral. You're definitely team Vic Lagina here, but you're not being mean or nasty either, which I appreciate, you know.
I'll do that. But what I do want to know, and here's another thing is, okay, so most leases start on the 1st or the 5th or the 15th or 30th. Mm-hmm. What day did she move? What day was she telling you about this? Like, when? I mean,
it was literally in like the beginning of the month. I mean, we are in the beginning of the month. It happened in the beginning of the month.
The conversation,
you know.
Like we have to have a conversation.
That was I don't know, like the 28th or 29th of April. Yeah, I mean, we were premeditated. Look, maybe. I mean, look, I have to take things at face value. I do appreciate brutal honesty. I am a brutally honest person. Perhaps that's why I said you have to break up with me when I could have been a little softer in all of that.
Right, soft. That's no. You can't be because she's the one bringing it up. And I'm telling you with a kid, man. I can't. I'm not saying you're a bad person, Vic. I'm just saying I can't see you at your age. Even at freaking 56, 57 years old with a kid. People retire at the age of 65. Your ass would be out there working for another 20 years, you know? And here's something very interesting John Jay is saying, and I was about to say this, never date someone twice, and she'll be back for all that stuff. Like, you just find another girl, and there's always something you like more about the next one than the last one, which is just, I don't know if she'll be back for that stuff, but maybe she left you with the Dyson mop and all that.
It's a consolation prize.
Maybe she'll be back and she'll use it as an excuse to speak to you, right?
Yeah. Well, no, I've heard these theories from people. Everyone's definitely has an opinion on it. I've gotten opinions from my female friends who have been very empathetic to both sides of it. And no, here's the other thing too. And I said this, like, I know I put my best foot forward. Was I perfect? No, who is? But if I gave her my all and that wasn't good enough, I have to just fucking swallow that pill. I mean, it's just the reality,
Swallow, yeah. Speaking of swallowing, Black Damage with Brazzers sucks now. All the best performers are gone. No Nikki Benz, no Gina Lynn. Gina Lynn's someone I wanted to speak to before. Nicholas Shea, Johnny Sins, Marcus Dupree, most importantly, no Vic. So, you have fans, but I don't...
Black Damage, yeah.
Yeah. The whole thing just sounds so weird, and it does sound like it was possibly something she had brewing for about a month. And everything in life is timelines, so it's possible you don't know what her friends are saying, like, oh well, it's possible her friend or friends back home were saying, well, look, your biological clock is ticking and blah 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 blah, so you need to get this done. Some girls want to do this shit before 35 or before 30. I don't think not everyone wants to do Frankenbaby. Frankenbaby is like that whole tube or tube. Frankenbaby.
Oh yeah, the artificial insemination and all that shit.
Cruel or like insensitive, but yeah, there's such a thing. Now that's cute. Scott. Be great responsible parents. Yeah, okay. No. I have I got a cat, and that's good.
Yep.
But I just don't understand this. Like, I think at the end of the day, this is her loss. But like I said earlier, thank you, West Coast Millennial. He said you're his favorite guest.
I appreciate that. Thank you, bud. Very much appreciate that.
Like I was saying earlier, I mean, these girls, this is a term I use sometimes, when these bitches talk, and she's not a bitch, by the way, no girl, most women don't want to see their female friends happy with someone else deep down. And I've
heard this too.
Shit into their brains. Okay. And this is what my therapist told me like 6 years ago. And it was a female therapist too. She was cool. Like, she got it right. No woman wants to see their friends genuine people. Like, I want to see my female friends happy. I don't always support the girl in every situation. I never support females in every situation. I support right and wrong. My cousin did something shitty to her husband. I didn't support her. I got a shit ton of backlash from my family for like 10 years. But they probably don't support her. I want to know what the status is of her hairdresser in Vegas and her friends at home. What are their statuses like? What are their home lives like? What are they like? I had a hairdresser that did this shit to me once. And I remember once, because I had a fight with my ex, she says to me, oh, well, I really wish someone was paying for my health insurance. I wish someone was paying for my classes. And, you could tell with that fucking bitterness in her voice. And mind you, years later, I got her a settlement and a lawsuit, right? Like $140,000. Ask me how many times she took me out for lunch or even like a McDonald's or dinner. 0.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. The problem is I wasn't able to size up any of her friends. I don't know any of them. I hadn't met them. Now, she met a lot of my friends. And so my friends were literally like on the side of like, I want to see you guys work out because I know how happy you were. Like, that was really the case. And look, we all have shit to work through. And, one thing I suggested was I have no problem sitting down like once a month or even more with a couples therapist just to see if we're like on the same page. Look, sometimes you need a mediator there to really get things out. I have found that people have a very hard time communicating. I don't have this issue. I'm very straightforward. This is what's on my mind. And a lot of times it's very calm and very chill and very productive. Not everyone is wired that way. And I get it. But like, I do believe there's things to be ironed out that she needs to really work on. And I have to just be cool with it and just let her go and just let her be happy, find her peace, and that's cool. I'll miss her dog terribly. The house is pretty quiet with the with the crazy Doberman not running around. That one cut a little deep too. But look, who knows? I like I said, we still talk to each other. So she's not out of my life completely. It's just, what do we do from here? That's really the big question.
You could make a list. So that list is the pros and cons of the person, like the relationship, right? Then you got to outweigh that. But I'm telling you, this whole thing with the kids, that sounds like such a deal breaker. And she might go back to her friends and say, oh, yeah, he's agreed to have kids. But I'm telling you, her friends or someone in her family, does she have sisters or anything? What's her family relationship like?
I mean, she's got younger sisters, so, or younger siblings. Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to delve too much about her and her personal life at all. But yeah, I did hear the theory that sometimes friends are not happy. So they want, their friends to be single and, that I've heard that theory too. So yeah, completely. And, look, I look at this whole thing too. I do single very well. I will tell you on certain things, I definitely would neglect my personal goals a little bit because I just wanted to hang out with her. I wanted to be around her so much that in some ways I got complacent, 100%. I didn't. I got complacent. I wouldn't say I took her for granted at all, but taking her out more, could have done it. Going on trips more, could have done it. Planned on actually doing it. That's the ironic thing about all this. Getting out of Vegas in the summertime, I would have been like, hey, let's pack the fucking dogs up. Let's go north. Let's go where it's cooler. Let's just get away from it all. This was all in the mental docket. It was just, and it still can be, I guess, but we do have to be aligned in a lot of other ways for me to feel comfortable about this working out, and that's just kind of how it goes. And I do have faced the reality that, she could go elsewhere. And if she does, I wish her happiness. I mean, that's all I can really ask for her.
A lot of people make plans and then you break up. It's like you've had hopes for the relationship and you could be disappointed and explain that to her that you have support. But I feel as though, the longer you two keep in each other's lives, everyone handles these things differently, right? I don't see the exes after because it's just not right. Because then how does either party move on? And it's kind of a toxic thing to have a lingering ex in your current relationship. So let's say hypothetically down the line, you meet some nice Jewish girl that's into
doubtful, but okay. I'm with you on this imaginary scenario. Go ahead.
Meet a nice shiksa with shiksa appeal. Okay. How's that?
Okay. More based in reality, but yes, go on, continue.
Oh, okay. All right, you meet a dirty shiksa that's nice. Okay, there you go. And y'all date and everything, and then this girl's still lingering around. It's just it's lingering feelings that you don't want,
Sure.
So it's like what John's saying. If someone really likes you, they'll put up with anything. There are no nonsense arguments and random exits. It's true, and I feel as though, it's possible, man. That just, this was planned because if you're saying, and it's the friends. Because let me tell you, sometimes hairdressers are the worst. Like my friend Gina, and it's just like what John said. She probably blew all the money, which she did. Not even $100 as a thank you. Not even a freaking In-N-Out burger with a Diet Coke. That's the least you could have done. I've had friends that made way less in lawsuit referrals from me that at least bought me lunch. Maybe they gave me a gift card, maybe they didn't. I'm not going to say yes or no, but I just do to help people. And all I remember is just that bitterness in her voice. And I could hear this type of tone. And even though I don't know your ex, I could just hear the tone in another girlfriend's voice. Well, blah, blah, blah. And when these girls start doing that, it just gets to you and they drive these points all the way home and you can't do anything.
Well, it's a valid theory that has crossed my mind that I unfortunately cannot disprove. However, look, we are here right now This is what it is. I agree with you, John, that there was a solution there. The solution would have been like, hey, I think you and I need to have our own spot if we want to be together. That is just ours and fresh energy and everything else. And I would have been like, you know what? You're right. Because what I would do, and I'm starting to like actually feel like this place gets a little stale, so I could easily rent this place out and make 6 figures a year and go elsewhere. The question I always have is, I still like Vegas. I do. I don't like the summers, right? But right now, if you were to ask me, where would you want to live? That the answer is not Hawaii, which I wouldn't do because you have to like bringing my dogs and quarantining them. That's part of it. Yeah. Like that. Yeah. You have to quarantine them for 6 weeks because there's no rabies on the island, right. I don't want to do that to my dogs. They'll be like, what the fuck is going on? They'd be scared and all of that. So, but like beyond Maui, in a little town called Paia on the North Shore, I have no fucking clue where else I would want to live. Like I've lived here we're going on 19, almost 20 years now. Okay. And this has been like my home for the last several years. And people come through here all the time. And if you want to go someplace cool, you got 6 hours in any direction. You can be Arizona, you could be Utah, you could be Colorado, you can be California. There's so many cool places out here. So I don't really know, but maybe a fresh space. I would have totally been up for that kind of conversation had it been brought up when we were like together. But like this whole thing now, it's like it really was. It shakes my confidence on a lot of levels, as it should.
Well, take this as a preview, okay?
Mm-hmm.
As well,
yep.
Things come, and people just don't. Okay, the truth with the couples counselors is they're there to prepare you for the end. They'll take your money gladly. And by the way, West Coast Millennial is right. Vegas is brutal during the summer, but I love it.
Right.
Even if you move, it's got to be some kind of a compromise. And this whole thing, man, I think you would have ended up if you compromise way too much, you'll end up kicking yourself in the ass.
Of course. No, I agree with you. And
yourself because you're going to do all this like this, and this, and this. And it's like you can't keep dancing that fast. There's only so much dancing you could do to appease. And I mean, I could be wrong. I just think that there were all these amends that you're ready to make for her. But what amends was she ready to make for you? Was she really going to wait 5 years to make sure? And do you really want to deal with someone who's listening to your friends like that too? If that was the case.
Right. No, and listen, I understand life plans change, life desires change. And she did. Look, she moved out here. She moved in with me. Yeah. She what?
From California?
No, from somewhere. I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to go specific on where she's from. In the United States. But she did, but like completely out of state, like long drive. Let's just put it that way. But she did. She tried to make this more of a home and less of a former porn factory of, a former porn producer. Like I get it. I understand it. But I think like really, if you really want to boil it down to where if she looks at me and it's like, you're my partner and I really want to talk about this and I think we can figure this out. But to get none of that and an abrupt exit, it's just like, I don't think less of her as a person at all, but it's just like, like that is a grave red flag that I just didn't know existed that came out during all of this,
Right. I don't know what happened to my screen. There we are. Now
it's okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually, that's my fault. I was fucking around with it. I shouldn't have done that. But no, what I'm saying is I just think that there's more to this that maybe you're not seeing now because you're so close to the situation, and that's
right.
The problem. That's why, you and I are talking about this. We're getting all this other feedback. And, if you're happy, don't move. There are tons of women there. Women are like cars. There's one on every street corner. And, maybe the next person, like what Jim is saying, the next love of your life will probably say hi to you at the supermarket next month. Or maybe, you'll find her playing slots and losing money. I don't know.
No, like I said, Vegas is kind of shit from the dating scene on both sides of the fence. I mean, because maybe it's because it's transient. There's a lot of transients coming through here. You know, like Vegas is kind of like LA 2.0, where douchebaggery runs rampant, egos run rampant, people and their things and what they think like makes a human and what the fuck. Exactly. And I mean, and she is of that mold too. Like when people brag about this or that or the other thing, she just rolls her eyes. I mean, so I mean, I guess she'll figure that out on her own. But yeah, so what I'm just gonna do is just keep waking up every day and not go the self-destructive mode and work on myself. I mean, I went to an agent today. I met with an agent today. Yeah. She I'm thinking about doing the whole in front of the camera acting thing. Yeah. She promised me like a lot of jobs. I mean, but I had to go down on her for like about 10 minutes.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. But it seemed to be a good meeting. I was teeing up that joke like all fucking show. But it was a good meeting. But like, here's the thing. I told her, I go, look, I'm retired now, so I got all the time in the world. And when it comes to like projects and all that stuff, like I've been on the other side of the camera for so fucking long that I don't have the patience for it. But trying to like immerse in a role or do something cool, like I've got the hyper obsession to do that and to do it well. So we'll see what comes next on all that. And then here's the other big news. The next projects should be dropping relatively soon. Now that I have all of this time, I'm going to be doing more of the audio entries for those out there who may be interested.
Okay, yeah, that's good. I did a considerable amount of voice over because I'm a polyglot, and having different languages is a great tool to have. I say that you try some stand-up, head on over to the Nerd Bar if they have an open mic night, or go down to Fremont Street and try it there. But I think that's your next calling. Let me ask you something, and I know what you're
doing. Good.
And also the listeners.
Mm-hmm.
I know like people might think you're obsessing about this. So my ex blew his brains out, right? They never had a memorial for him.
Mm-hmm.
And his friends that respected him from his jobs, where he worked on TV, always contacted me. They tried to contact his widow. Nothing. Would it be tacky to have just a simple memorial for his work friends? Because nothing was ever, they want to have that chance to memorialize him. Let's
do it.
Small thing. Yeah, because I was thinking of doing it next month. And like, it's just simple. Get like a photo of him in large and put like a wreath, like a horseshoe wreath around his face.
Yeah.
And, I don't want to invite his widow because she was a cunt and all she does is all over the place. And she left his fucking ashes, get this, at the paupers moratorium. Just left them there. Hasn't claimed them.
Wow. Okay.
Deserves better than this. And it would just be myself, a few of his really close friends that I know that I still speak to. Thank you, Drac. Drac's like, do it. And then
do it.
And like his work friends that I knew. So I just like, is it inappropriate doing this, or do you think it's fine?
I think it's absolutely fine. I think you should do all that. And yeah, go for it.
This is like freaky. But I just think like I'm still bothered by the ashes not being claimed. That's like leaving someone, just leaving them out there. That's like so ghetto. Yeah.
No, it's showing gross disrespect for someone who walked this earth and unfortunately thought the only way out was to kill themselves. I mean, that saddens me. So you should do that just to like respect him. Absolutely.
If I was married to that, though, just saying, I'd want to blow my brains out too. Anyways.
Yeah.
But you've got to, I don't want you to, please don't be that guy. Okay. So I saw this nerdy white guy with a backpack on and his glasses, kind of pudgy. And he had this mail order bride from hell yelling at him at the bus stop, and she smacked him. So then he's there like chasing after her. I'm like, dude, don't.
No. Listen, our thing never got that toxic. Because like the truth is, I went through that hell. Okay. I dated like literally like demons in human form. I have, and am never going to go back to that toxicity. I'm never going to be in a situation where I don't feel like I'm respected or appreciated at all. So you don't have to worry about that. I mean, yep, my balls are still there and quite sizable. So I'm going to hold to all of that. I really am. It's just, I appreciate you doing this because I really needed to still sort things out. I have times where I'm like, yo, I got this. And there's times where you're like, fuck, man, like this is hard. However, as I said, I will be okay.
Like Don Dawkins says, just walk away.
Yeah.
I don't know if I really want to listen to Don Dawkins for advice, but Don Dawkins, right. There's so many other people out there, and maybe the key is that you date someone that's older, that doesn't have kids or want them, or someone that already has kids. Like I would never date a guy that has young kids, right?
Right.
And it's like a few years ago, there's this guy that wanted to date me. The only photos I got from him were selfies with him and his freaking kids. I said, just so you know, I am not a fan of this single dad crap with you and your kids. I think it's tacky. It doesn't interest me, because that's not what I want. Like why do single dads send those photos of them with a kid to a single woman? Like, do you think that's sexy?
I don't know. I mean, I would, I don't, yeah, I don't get it. I don't get that at all. You might be right. Look, the truth is that yes, because of this book and all the promotion I've done, I used to be very much behind the scenes, didn't have much of a social presence. Now that has changed. Now that I'm out there and I'm promoting, and, there are people that have reached out that have been like, you're very interesting. And I really just like observing and watching and, just seeing what you're up to. So I know that I got it. It's just that, very sudden, very just when you're so convinced that this person is your life partner. But like, you have to realize the bubble can always burst at any given moment. And, you hope it doesn't, but mine did. It was sudden. It was shocking. Again, I handled it poorly at times, I will say. But, at the end of it all, I really just want her to be whole and happy. I even told her, I said, I felt like in some ways I was a protector, making sure she was okay. I would have totally taken a bullet for her. If it really came down to it. Like that's how strongly I felt. Yeah, mock me, if you will. But that's the truth.
No, okay, look. I'll tell you, like, I get how you feel. Like, I was dating a keyboardist in a black metal band for over a year. This band did before years ago, right? So it could be worse with getting dumped. His sister hated my guts. She's like some supermodel. I mean, her karma came back to her eventually. She kept interfering and fucking meddling in our business all the time. And she found out I used to do porn. So she like made this whole big stink about it. Okay. So he dumped me via text message like a little wuss, right? Like a little pussy. And you're in a black metal band playing demonic black metal. And you're a little pussy when it comes to your scrawny, anorexic, ugly sister who has the body of a 12-year-old boy. Right? So he's doing this by text, and I'm on a jetway in a plane getting ready to leave, a delayed plane. It's like the fucking emotional drama of it. So I get it. And there's no, that's supposed to be like, I would never want someone like that back. So it could have been worse. I'm just saying. And you didn't get that. Like you got some of the respect you deserve, but, yeah, John, you're right. I wouldn't date someone that takes fucking selfies. No, I'm good. But it gets better, right? You're fucked up from it now, but at least it didn't happen like Valentine's Day or around the holidays. Because hi, Brian, I feel as though that's where it gets bad. Brian, we were just talking about Mustis from Dimmu Borgir, the Norwegian black metal band, and what a pussy he is. So he got me like years ago in a text message because of his retarded looking like sister. Yeah, she looks like a boring fuck anyway. I know I'm being really cruel, right? No, I'm not a
Whatever.
girl. I go balls out with it. But
Yeah.
like your thing,
Well,
this is what relationships are, though. Like we take
yeah,
chances when we do this, right?
we do. We do. Yes, absolutely. And look, it will give me opportunity now to really just create more. And I feel that there is really good things in the horizon, like just mainly because the book has really started to gain momentum now. It's gotten to the point where I'm seeing such an uptick in streams. It's because of doing shows like yours or other ones where they the word gets out, and then they like when I see motherfuckers stream or replay my audiobook 4 times, I'm like, okay, all right, so we're getting there. And I know that it's just going to keep building on that. And so what I have to do is create a little bit more, create more stories. I have more stories, but what I'm going to do is release them as standalone episodes as a series on like a podcast or more like on a Spotify or something else, and continue to do that. And who knows, maybe this acting shit will take off. It seems fun. Seems like it'll be fun.
But once you're in, you're in. It's just you have to really. That's where your work and your mind have to be. So you can't really like have distractions and stuff like that. Same with wrestling. Like you can't have distractions and all this other shit because then momentum and stuff gets lost. So West Coast Millennial, Vic, I watched your conversation with Lisa Ann. It was a good talk. You're a good storyteller. It's a gift. So I feel as though you should be doing your stand-up as well, because you do have jokes, right? And most Jewish people are great comedians.
Thank you, dude.
I'm being supportive. But you could just throw out the name of the book really quick for the viewers before I go have dinner. It's Filthy, The Rise and Pending Fall of Vic Lagina.
Death. Yes, so there you go.
Death of Vic Lagina. You should get, because there's stories out there, guys, and there's stories for everyone that everyone can relate to something in your life, like this breakup, for example, which really sucks. Yeah,
it's a real bummer, man. I got punched in the dick, and I was not expecting it at all. But hey, better to learn these things, grow from them. I'm not harboring any resentment. I'm not choosing to be negative. I think a lot of people go that way. I don't think it's helpful. I think it's better to go in a more positive direction. I think the world of her still, even though, this whole thing happens. I think that's good, because some of my exes, they are like cut completely. They are out. They are way the fuck out, and that's where they're going to remain. This one, no. I mean, she had all of the markings of a good partner, and she will make a good partner to someone one day. I mean, I know that. But you know what? As far as the storytelling, and thank you for telling me that's a gift, I think what I'm going to also work on, which was a thing, was, I do have this this master's degree, which enables me to teach on a college level. Ridiculous, I know. But what I'm thinking of doing is going on like a tour, take my dogs, go on a tour, lecture students about the industry, lecture them about sex, because they're in college, they're getting into it. They really need to know someone, this guy, who's seen it, done it all. And that was one thing I also thought about doing. So maybe I take the Filthy show on the road. That's probably the next step as well.
Yeah, I had that aspiration of speaking to college students about different things. I don't know why I haven't implemented the tools to do so. But it's a really good idea. I'm actually bringing back my one-woman show next year. So Don Jameson, comic, he and I are like reworking a lot of it. So I feel as though this is the time for like spoken words from people that have wisdom and have lived. When you hear these younger people speaking about shit, you've got nothing to say. So just dip vaginas, okay?
Right.
Those of us who've lived. I know that sounds cruel and harsh, but it's the truth. Because I see a lot of you guys out there doing dumb shit. Like going back into bad influence, the kidfluencer thing.
Yeah.
Younger parents making bad choices with kids. I don't know. I know you're not doing that. So go ahead and just plug your socials really quick before I go out to eat.
Yeah, at Vic Lagina on X and Instagram. Please reach out to me. People reach out. They're like, dude, I love your book. And I'm like, thank you. And we talk, and it's really a great thing. Go to the website, viclagina.com. look at the trailer. I'm actually pulling footage from that project and it was never released, and I'm kind of sprinkling it throughout the interweb. So yeah, more to come from this dude. It's happening.
Whoop whoop, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So don't forget to go pick up also Filthy, The Rise and Pending Death of Vic Lagina. Vic, thanks for coming.
Close it up.
Let's
thank you.
In a couple weeks, okay? Things are going to be okay.
I appreciate it. I feel better. Thank you so much for listening and giving your opinion and not being heavy-handed. I really appreciate it, sincerely.
I'm just being honest. Okay.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you.
No problem.
Good night, everyone.
All right, guys. So that was just Vic Lagina. Do not forget to pick up his book, Filthy, The Rise and Pending Death of Vic Lagina. And yeah, I mean, breakups suck, dudes, like, and females. It really does. But what can you do? You know, you only live once. No, you live every day, but you die once. And you just got to make the best of it. You can't let these breakups define who you are or what else you do with your life, because shit happens. And it's all, you know, these just contribute to stories. Like every day something happens and breakups contribute to great stories. I gave you guys a half decent story earlier. I mean, getting broken up with on a plane by a fucking black metal musician. That was like the stupidest thing ever. But it doesn't make a difference because, you know, I met better people, like real men down the line. Only wuss does stuff like that. But whatever. Good night, Scott. Good night, Paul. And don't forget to everyone, subscribe to my page and watch every Thursday Lunacy TV off of the Juggalo Championship Wrestling, YouTube, Psychopathic Records. And don't forget to stay frosty. Thank you for tuning in. Bye.